Hello, friends. Regular viewers of this channel, all three of you, may be surprised by this video's topic. After all, my content is usually in the nature of doing an audiobook-style narration of the kind of text the annoying guy who keeps telling you to read theory on your social media thinks is cool and sexy. If you clicked on this, I assume you're more or less familiar with the salient facts and the arguments surrounding the stuff in the title. Rogan's speech is either the sacred and constitutionally protected expression of his opinions as a citizen, or the epidemiological equivalent of yelling fire in a crowded theater. He is either a heroic underdog, victimized by cancel culture for going against the government narrative, or a super-rich celebrity meathead who is best described as Gwyneth Paltrow for men. Musicians leaving Spotify over his advocacy of alternative medicine, he's either comparable to the book-burning campaigns of the Third Reich as perpetrated by a bunch of boomer has-been, never-been celebrities in the pockets of Big Pharma, or simply those musicians exercising their own freedom of speech by demanding the removal of their speech from the platform that paid Rogan $100 million for the exclusive rights to publish his toxic drivel. And so on. And there's a right answer to all that, and it's not the middle road. But the whole argument has been rehashed so many times, I just don't think it's very fresh anymore. Frankly, a much more interesting observation is that the whole debacle has a lot of people debating a man's God-given constitutional right to encourage his audience to poison themselves with horse dewormer when they ought to be talking about the way Spotify, and by extension the rest of the streaming platform cartel, scandalously underpays creators while padding the pockets of its shareholders, upper management, and a few favorite celebrities. But this video isn't about that either. Here's the take. The free speech warriors who think they and their favorite celebrities should just get to say whatever and not face any consequences of any kind whatsoever do bring up a point, although probably not the one they're trying to make, and certainly not about the people they're trying to make it. We in the free world may, as their opponents argue, technically enjoy freedom of speech, in the sense that nobody gets sent to prison unless they make an actual threat, and very rarely even if they do, but the exercise of free speech without an audience is meaningless. Deplatforming is as effective as censorship, without the nasty human rights implications. Through market economies and private property, we have ceded the proverbial town square to private parties who have a strong disincentive in allowing debate of their right to police those spaces. Publishers and platforms are gatekeepers of ideas, controlled by capitalists and governments ideologically committed to capitalism, ready and willing to quash the free expression of ideas with only the profit motive to restrain them. In the case of streaming platforms, this does not even require editorial intervention. Simply by categorizing certain words and themes as controversial or adult allows them to delegate responsibility for policing political speech to automated systems, for example YouTube's infamous algorithm, while maintaining plausible deniability for their actions in shaping debate of political and social issues. That's nuts, the rhetorical liberal who somehow stumbled on this video says. On the internet, we all get to pick the media we consume, and the best ideas win. It's the magic of the free market, baby! For a real-life example of how a streaming platform picked a winner in this free market of ideas, I will refer you to Nerd City's excellent and extremely entertaining expose of YouTube's deplatforming of LGBTQ+ creators, titled YouTube's Biggest Lie, and perhaps amusingly published, like this video, on YouTube. Link in the description. The short version is this. While publicly championing LGBTQ+ rights, YouTube, through its algorithm, miscategorized any mention of LGBTQ+ issues in a video as erotic content and automatically demonetized it, while notably failing to extend the same courtesy to the alt-right and other assorted homophobes who are promoted on this platform to this day. On the free marketplace of ideas, YouTube covertly forced LGBTQ+ creators to choose between going without monetization or chilling their speech about issues that affect them, all while promoting and profiting from hate speech and carefully couched calls to violence against LGBTQ+ people by the right. The details of this process are actually quite interesting and revealing, and I encourage you to go watch that video once you're done with this one. Or before you're done with this one. I'm not your dad. Back to Rogan. When Spotify chose to purchase the exclusive right to publish his content, they effectively subsidized his speech to the tune of $100 million. Moreover, they obviously have a strong interest in making this a good investment, in giving Rogan's show and the views expressed in it the maximum audience possible. That's not exclusive to Rogan. The same profit motive applies to any podcast, video, film, television show, book, article, documentary. It doesn't matter what disclaimers the publishers hang on it. Unless the authors are self-publishing, publishers and platforms are paying for that content to reach an audience, and they have a vested interest in making sure that audience is as large as possible. And this shapes public discourse. This is obviously a problem, and sadly I don't have a solution. I can't come up with a system that promotes good speech over bad without reference to the interests of the publisher, or even a system that is truly neutral. And as far as I can tell, this has always been the case, and it will only get worse as communications technology and globalization advances. In pre-industrial society, poets and philosophers might have their views privileged by the patronage of the powerful, who would certainly not have given that patronage to ideas that subverted their authority. Every mass communications advance of the modern age, movable type, radio, film, television, the internet, has massively increased the size of the potential audience while concentrating access to these audiences in the hands of fewer and fewer gatekeepers, who in our society are the shareholders of massive media and tech corporations. You know, capitalists. A truly free marketplace of ideas is impossible under the capitalist mode of production. If we've learned anything at all in the past couple of decades, it's that even in those spaces ideologically dedicated to untrammeled free speech will simply be blown up by bad actors pushing brain supplements, miracle cancer cures, and the next Dogecoin. Unmoderated spaces are taken over by grifters as soon as they appear, when they aren't created to facilitate grifts in the first place. The bad actor's cost is trivial, the payoff is potentially huge. For society, the cost is huge, the payoff is a net negative. So yeah, this is my super simple take on censorship, deplatforming, and the realities of media in the 2020s. Sorry, not really, about that clickbait title. Need to get those views while the story is still relevant. If you want much better takes on related topics, check out this bunch of guys called the Frankfurt School, who spent pretty much their entire careers analyzing how the capitalist mode of production shapes mass media and how that mass media shapes our culture in turn. You even get to scare reactionaries by reading the actual and very real cultural Marxists. And while they're famously dense and difficult, especially to the stuff I do for this channel, Adorno and Horkheimer's The Culture Industry, Enlightenment as Mass Deception is a pretty reasonable and short read, and I can also recommend Walter Benjamin's The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction. Unfortunately, I probably won't be doing either essay for this channel for copyright reasons, but you can find the text versions with a Google search of the title. This is only my second attempt at original content for the channel. If you enjoyed it or you have notes, why not leave a comment below? If you hated it, tell me all about it in the comments, and go to all my other videos and tell me how much I suck under those videos as well.